live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
Yes, it does, Bill O'Reilly. It sucks. I'm flying solo, and man, I tell you, that is a scary, scary proposition for anyone listening. Scary, but scary fun. Yes, my lovely wife is not here to be the brakes. It's just gas tonight. All gas, no brake. All gas, no brake. Yes, we're going to talk about all sorts of fun and exciting things. Talk a little bit about the hurricane, because when you live in Southwest Florida this last week, it has been crazy, even though I missed it because I'm a piece of crap husband. We'll get to that. And you're like, well, yeah, we all knew that. It's about time you fessed up. Yes, we're going to talk about weird ways to die. And then, we did this whole thing last week on Xiaflex and the insane direct-to-consumer advertising. So I'm going to hit that one about other advertising from days gone by, and something which I think, honestly, is the single greatest advertisement in modern history. I'm obsessed with advertising. I find it unbelievably amazing. It's basically creative lying, like the most creative lying you can do. But there's an ad that we're going to get to today, which is a mind blower as far as how effective I think it is, at least for the demographic it's going after. So anyways, welcome to Doctales with Cocktails. And I'm your host, Dr. Tim Hindmarsh. So let's start off with our first segment. Here we go. Well, it wasn't DeSantis versus Satan this week. It was DeSantis versus Mother Nature. Or whatever you want to call the whole hurricane world. So big shout out. I mean, the Tampa Bay Lightning have started this Tampa Bay Strong campaign selling t-shirts. This was a really big deal. And natural disasters are incredibly bizarre because they're very random. So we were unbelievably blessed. We are so thankful for all the prayers that all of our friends set up. The outpouring of support that we got was amazing. We were left essentially unscathed. It's amazing. Like even the pool enclosure that we have, it's all it's aluminum with screens all the way around. The screens obviously get heavy when it's raining hard, and when you have a 95-mile-an-hour winds, mayhem can ensue. We live next to a preserve, which means it's all trees. We could have had trees blasting through, the house or whatever. We got nothing. So from that perspective, amazing. The other thing that's really amazing is how devastated people were from the previous hurricane, which is Hurricane Helene, which was water. And the amount of water on the West Coast, like on the West Coast of Florida, was absolutely staggering. There's places in Anna Maria Island, which is one of our favorite places to go, go to the beach huts and all that. All that stuff's gone. It got flooded and then it got blasted away with the winds of Milton. And most of Anna Maria Island was impassable from sand because so much sand got pushed ashore that it was like you needed a snowplow to get through. I mean, it was absolutely amazing, unbelievably tragic. One of our favorite places in the whole world is St. Armand's Circle in Sarasota. The businesses in there all flooded. There's businesses that have been there for decades that are never coming back. I mean, this was a really, really big deal. And when you live and work in the area, I see lots of patients. You see one person, one family. Yeah, we got nothing. It's no big deal. High five. Same with you. It's all good. The next people, it's like I've been living in a hotel. I haven't had power, and I have no idea what my house looks like because I can't get back to it. So, I mean, your ongoing support, prayers, etc. We really appreciate it. This was, even though for us, we were very fortunate. This was devastating to this community, and I don't want to make light of that. Now, even though I make light of everything. Where was I? Oh, well, good thing you should ask. I was here. I was at the Margaritaville Hotel and Casino in Biloxi, Mississippi, drinking what they call, what is that called? The frozen concoction that helps me hang on. Yes, that was me. And it was absolutely amazing. There's a car show up there called Cruising the Coast, which if you're a car guy, you have to go. It is, they think they register around 10 to 12,000 cars registered. And the car has to be 86, I think, 89 or older to be registered. And they register 10 or 12,000 cars for this. And they end up getting probably 2 to 3 times that in unregistered cars. So there's somewhere between 30 and 40,000 cars, hot rods, everything you can possibly imagine. It goes over essentially the entire Gulf Coast of Mississippi, which is about 50 miles. It's absolutely crazy. We had unbelievably cool weather. I'm going to switch to this video that shows you the kind of venues for a car show. So check this out. It's a park, nice park, and then you turn around from the other side of the park, and there is the Gulf of Mexico, adorned with beautiful classic cars. Yeah. So, yeah. So, we made a decision that I should probably not drive into a storm. So plus they switched the highways around. So I-75 is the corridor for which we go north and south on the West Coast. We were concerned that they were going to close the southbound lanes and make them northbound, which they did to a certain degree. So I don't know. I took one on the chin and stayed at Margaritaville and enjoyed the frozen concoction that helps me hang on. Yeah, so that was that. So the hurricane was a huge deal. May posted, she did really well. It was very scary. This was an absolute 100% direct hit. Has not happened to Sarasota in 100 years. How do you know it's a direct hit? It's a direct hit because you get the eye. So you have to be right smack dab in the middle of the storm to get the eye. And May posted some crazy video walking outside. You just had 85-mile-an-hour winds coming over your house. You walk outside. It's dead calm because you're in the middle of the eye. And then the back half of the backside, Milton's backside, as in the case of most of our backsides, was way worse than the front side. And then it got, people were like, oh, it's over. It's not that big a deal. The storm's breaking up. And then the backside came and it was like completely insane. So at any rate, I am amazed at the infrastructure and the management of the state. I drove home at night. I was advised by somebody that grew up here that if you wanted to get home and not be in a 350-mile parking lot, drive at night, which is what I did. It was painful, but I made it home. I made it home very efficiently. And I was passing basically emergency vehicles, and they were passing me. Trailers going 85 miles an hour, hauling ass into the devastation. The lineman trucks, the bucket trucks to put the power lines back together. There was a point where, believe it or not, in northern West Florida, there is kind of hills. You get to a hill and you'd look down, and as far as you could see was lineman trucks going south. I mean, it was literally gave you chills. It's like, wow, these guys this is crazy. I met a guy a couple of days ago. He's a lineman, upstate New York. Comes down here, puts the power back on for people. It's just, it's staggering. Like, we'd have a raccoon fart in Oregon and the power would go out, and it would take God knows how long to get it back on because it was, when we lived in the middle of nowhere. So it's been encouraging to see infrastructure in government that actually functions for the people involved. All right, here we go. Next. Oh, yes, one last thing. Check this out. So our outdoor television, we took everything off of our patio. Our outdoor television, May took off, put it in the house. And I came home and I'm like, well, there's racing and there's NASCAR and there's football and there's like so what I did is this, and what you'll see is I took my outdoor TV and started it up on just set it up against the a stand basically, and left the other TV going so that I could have two large screen televisions going at the same time. I basically did what every man's goal is I turned my living room in to Buffalo Wild Wings. So when May's gone, the living room becomes Buffalo Wild Wings. Yes, it does. And it is, let me tell you, a very glorious thing. All right, next segment called this. Yes, weird ways to die. Weird ways to die. Okay, so let's check this story out. Kind of an interesting story. A little bit of bullshit in this, and I'll talk about that. So here we go. In Spain, a mother of two collapses and dies in front of kids after being attacked by her pet hamster. 38-year-old woman collapsed outside a health center near her home in Spain. She was heading to the hospital or whatever with her two children, aged 17 and 11, to receive medical attention, and she just collapsed and died. So the part about this that's a little bit kind of, I'm not sure, is it's unclear if the spider bite or the hamster bite actually killed her, or if it was the fact that she was freaked out and just happened to collapse after being bit by a hamster. So this is back to the old correlation does not prove causation. So two things are true. Unfortunately, she was bitten by a hamster, and more unfortunately, she died. The connection between those two things, very unclear. They do not release autopsy information. It's not public record in Spain. So we shall never know. We shall never know. But it's sad. And we don't want to make light of someone passing away. But at the same time, the headline was pretty amazing and hard to ignore. Did she die? Again, it's like, the virus we had for the last 4 years. Did you die because of hamster bite? Or did you die with hamster bite? Because of hamster bite? Or with hamster bite? I'm sure you can fill in the blanks on that one. But that's exactly what this story was. Something happened to somebody and they died. We have no idea if they're connected. And I wonder, I can't read Spanish, but I wonder what the death certificate says. That is the rest of the story. Yes, okay. Thank you, Paul Harvey. All right, moving right along. I am obsessed with advertising. Absolutely 100%. Since I was a little kid, I would literally, my parents would tell me this, I would not watch the TV show and the ads would come on and I'd run and watch the ads. So I don't know what that says about me. We can probably call our new friend Ian Crone of the Enneagram Typology podcast and say, what does that say? I don't know what it says. I'm a 7, but creative lying, man. I'm telling you, to get paid for creatively lying, I maybe I did the wrong thing. Maybe I should not have been a doctor and I should have just gone into advertising, just been a creative liar, because I find it so incredibly fascinating. Now, what's interesting is we forget how much our cultures change and alter as time goes by. And so I love looking at old ads that were, are verified as actual ads that they had. And so I just did a show about medical maverick Francis Kelsey, who was amazing and worked for the FDA and basically prevented thalidomide from wiping out God knows how many children with birth defects back, 60, almost 65 years ago. And you think, okay, well, if you go back to this 40s, 50s, 60s, and you look at how women were advertised to, it's actually pretty disgusting. So here you go. Let's add this ad. I have a couple of them because they make me laugh and kind of throw up in my mouth. So here you go. You always want to leave early. You always want to leave the party early. Okay, so this is for Lysol disinfectant as a feminine hygiene product. In other words, Lysol disinfectant as a douche. And I like not, not advertising, like this is advertising a douche, not advertising douches, which would be the Kelsey brothers that are now advertising, the breakfast cereals and so forth. You got to read this to believe it, though. A familiar, pathetic figure, the wife who always gets tired and leaves the party before anyone else. So often it is her own fault. No woman who has a normal foundation of good health can be forgiven for failing to stay young with her husband. I think that means have sex, but I don't know. I was not born in 1925. Science offers science. I love this. Science. They were appealing to science, back 60, 75 years ago. Science offers a simple protection for her health and youthfulness. Sane habits of living, sane habits of diet, and the proper practice of feminine hygiene. But be sure you get the facts, right? Science and facts about feminine hygiene. Because clearly the facts about feminine hygiene are Lysol disinfectant douches. Obviously. Send for the free booklet offered below. It contains the facts and simple directions you must have. It was written by a woman written for women by a woman physician. Blah, blah, blah. You want to leave the party because you didn't Lysol douche. Fill on the blanks, kids, on what that means. And here we go. The next slide. Please, this is again for Lysol disinfected, concentrated germ-killing douche. Please, Dave, don't let me be locked out from you. Often a wife fails to realize the doubts due to one intimate neglect. Shut her out from happy married love. Okay, whoa. Let's rewind that one. Often a wife fails. It says fail. I can't read this. It's all kind of okay. Often a wife fails to realize that doubts due to one intimate neglect shut her out from happy married love. So the picture, if you're listening, is all these chains on a door: doubt, inhibitions, ignorance. So her husband, what they're saying is your husband isn't going to want to have sex with you unless you douche with Lysol. Pretty sure that's not the case, having done a lot of my own research, because I do my own research. But that is absolute. Can you imagine nowadays something like that? How, like, blame the woman. It's her. I mean, it really is. I mean, I never thought I was a feminist, but I guess I am. It's just like, holy crap. Can you believe this? It is absolutely unbelievable. Oh, I gotta get back here. There we go. There's me, nice and big, gigantic head. Got some comments. Let's see. Yes, glad I made it home safe. Yes, rabbit hamster. Yes, and the Moto Rob, beautiful comment. Were they really that dirty back then? My guess is no. But I do wonder this. I do not know. Did people take showers every day in 1945? The answer is absolutely not. Did they take them every other day? When that would be a point of history if somebody knows. I'd love to see that personal hygiene thing of when, because bathing for a lot of people was once a week for a long period of time with running water and with hot water. Before you had hot water, where you had to literally boil a kettle to get hot water and take a bath, that it was absolutely once a week. So yeah, I really wonder. I wonder how much of, whatever was just people didn't shower. Like, I live in Florida. We shower like sometimes 3 times a day. It's like, I'm going to go outside and get the mail. It's going to take me 4 minutes and I'll come back and take a shower. I mean, it's literally that bad. So it makes me wonder, were they really that dirty back then? I don't know. Maybe they were. Maybe I'm mocking a problem that was really a problem. No idea. Anyway, so on to the video of what I think is the single greatest advertisement right now. And I've only seen it a few times, and they don't play it very often. It's for Nike, and I'll explain it. I'll let it play. It's hard to see, but I'll kind of pause through this so you get so if you're listening and not watching, you understand what's going on.
Joy, joy, joy down in my heart. Deep down in my heart. It's down in my heart. I've got a joy, 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 joy down.
So what it is, it's close-ups on people's faces, and they're all running, and they're in absolute agony. It looks like they're being tortured. And this guy's singing the Joy in My Heart song.
Down in my heart today, I've got the grandest, greatest feeling. This feeling's really here to stay. And it's a joy that needs revealing. So I just want to say.
Okay, then it just ends with a gigantic sign on it. And then all it is the Nike swoosh. You have no idea what they're advertising until the end. And the brand is so recognizable. All they need is their brand logo. And it says, winning isn't comfortable. It gives me chills. It's so effective. That is so unbelievably great. Winning isn't comfortable. Do you know why? Because winning isn't comfortable. It's like Nike executives got together and said, okay, we've been lying to these bastards for the last 35, 40, 45 years. Why don't we just tell the truth and see what happens? Everyone else is lying their ass off. Let's just tell the truth. Let's see what happens when you tell the truth. And I'm like, when you tell the truth, that is so freaking effective. That is amazing. Winning isn't comfortable. And they have their demographics absolutely square in the crosshairs. Who are they advertising to? People that buy running shoes. People that buy running shoes and buy more than one pair of running shoes and buy more than one pair of running shoes a year understand suffering, because that's kind of part of the point or the entire point of running. And I've done it, holy crap, for 40 years now. Yes, it is suffering. It is discomfort. It's getting comfortable with discomfort, which is an unbelievably powerful thing. It's life-changing. It can change all aspects of your life, not just your fitness, not just your health, but the way you think, your mood, how you sleep, how successful you are at work. Winning isn't comfortable because it's not comfortable for anybody. Do you think it was comfortable for Elon Musk to make that freaking rocket that had the gigantic tongs that came out and caught it in midair as it's landing again? No, it was uncomfortable. It's difficult. We love amazing, difficult things because they're amazing and difficult, which means by definition, they're uncomfortable. So winning is uncomfortable. I salute you. I will drink to that, Nike. As much as I hate the supposed child labor work camps to build shoes, that ad, whoever you paid to do that, you didn't pay him enough. That was absolutely a freaking mind blower. Wow. Again, maybe I should have just done that. All right, kids. Meme of the week. Meme of the week. Okay, here it is. And it is a picture of the illustrious Dr. Fauci. And it said, the greatest trick the CDC ever pulled. Let me see if I can pull it over a little bit. The greatest trick the CDC ever pulled was convincing the world you can be sick without having symptoms. Whoever did that, I applaud. Because I have bitched my brains out about the whole asymptomatic spread. It's not like it was zero, but it was not what they said it was. Absolutely not even a billionth of what they said it was. that, you could be, like this, like breathing, like being scared of the air was somehow a thing, but whatever. It drives me crazy. Now we're down to 5 days, which is amazing. Like, you think of that, right? We're still advocating people get the booster for a virus that right now is essentially a cold, and you're still supposed to isolate for 5 days, but it's not 2 weeks, it's 5 days. So it's not like, so I get it. The virulence has changed, but it's still, I mean, if you still think it's worth taking an agent to prevent it, why is it 5 days and not 2 weeks like it was before? Because if it's really just a cold and it only requires 5 days, then guess what? You don't need an agent to prevent it because it's just a cold, right? Common sense. Why take a booster for a cold? Well, that's right, because it's down to like 1% or something, or 1.5% of people actually doing it. So, the beat goes on, as they say. Well, fortunately, or unfortunately, that's all I have for tonight. Thank you for those that commented and tuned in. I really appreciate that. And I think tomorrow we're going to have what I call a Medical Mavericks episode, where it's just me again. I'm delving into some medical history of a very fascinating woman, Frances Kelsey, who, like I said before, literally saved, honestly, nobody knows how many babies from the scourge of thalidomide, which was a drug that was released back in the days where there was very little regulation on releasing new drugs, which is also an amazing story. I go into all of that. It's only about a half hour. Really insightful, very inspiring, from an amazing person. We're going to bring more of those. I want to get into the history of the war on drugs, history of C-sections. All of this stuff has a history, and it almost all centers around one central personality that brought these things to bear that we take for granted, that changed our life, some for the overwhelming good and some for the overwhelming bad. We take them on both sides, the good and the bad, and in some cases, the ugly. So listen up tomorrow, download that episode. And as always, rate us on the platforms, write a comment. And we really appreciate all that kind of stuff. Anything you can do in that regard is super helpful. Stay true, do your own research, and stay BS free.